Think somebody took it. Or somebody bought it.
Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and it feels like collectors are running out of options. Yesterday I went to a local thrift store where the prices for video games were astronomical, and so I asked the Y2K crew, is this something that's only happening on the East Coast, or is this happening everywhere? And I want to first off say a huge thank you to the Y2K crew. You all left a ton of comments letting me know that this stuff is happening on the West Coast, in Texas, in Philly, in I'm trying to think of all the places, you know, in Boston. You know, we got comments from all over the place where people were telling me that, you know, this is happening in the Midwest, the West Coast, the South, the Northeast, that astronomical prices for video games are a common thing. And I'm honestly, I was shocked, you know, because again, I don't do a lot of game hunting outside of my local area. And so I'm always thinking that these prices are really high because of where I'm located. Being in one of the most expensive parts of the country, you just assume that everything is inflated, but it's, you know, at least I know that I'm not alone in some of these prices. And it makes it tough because, you know, for anyone who's still building a retro game collection, it feels like we're all gonna just be relegated to eBay. And I do not want eBay to become the last hope for retro gaming, because once everything funnels its way into eBay, now eBay can set the prices. And you know what happens when eBay starts to set the prices? Now they're really gonna go up. I want to just show you all of the pickups that I've, you know, been able to get so far in February. This is just for February, and you're going to be shocked at how many of these pickups were non-GameStop related versus the GameStop related pickups. So we're just going to first start off with the non-GameStop related pickups. So first up, we have this copy of Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the Sega Dreamcast. This was a Mercari deal. I got the case for $3 and I got the game itself for $35. So that's the main reason why I snagged this one up. So that's Street Fighter Alpha 3. Next up, we have, no, this was actually a GameStop pickup, so I can't show that one. So next up, we have Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill Book of Memories. Now, this was just a straight up trade. I traded some games away to a local reseller. They gave me these two games. I kind of wanted to complete the Silent Hill cipher. I think this gets me all of the Silent Hill games. I'm not sure. But as far as like at least the Silent Hill retro games, I think I have them all. And that was just a trade that I did. I traded away a bunch of games that I just wasn't interested in having anymore. That does it. That does it for the non-GameStop related pickups. Now let's talk about the GameStop pickups. First up, we have Resident Evil 2 on the N64. We have Smash Bros on the N64, and we have Diddy Kong Racing on the N64. So these were all GameStop pickups that I made locally. Well, actually, this was a local pickup. This was an online pickup. This was an online pickup. So those are the N64 pickups. Then we have a complete copy of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, which is a GameStop pickup. This was very recent. I picked this one up over the weekend. Metal Gear Solid Portable, complete in box from GameStop. The Legend of Starfy. God of War Saga. 3D Dot Game Heroes for the PlayStation 3. Family Guy for the PlayStation 3. And by the way, these two were online pickups, both complete in box, and this was an in-store pickup. Then you have Shadow Hearts. This is an in-store pickup, pretty good find. That's complete in box as well. Super Mario Sunshine. This is also complete in box. This was an online GameStop pickup. And that last but not least, Luigi's Mansion. Case and game, no manual on this one. This was an online pickup, right? So that just goes to show you, and I'm just showing you these just to show you how reliant I've been on GameStop when it comes to picking up retro games. But it's not just retro games that I've picked up from GameStop. I've also picked up some controllers. So we have this gold PlayStation 3 controller. We have this used not Game Boy, Super Nintendo Classic controller, which these come in really handy, to be quite honest with you. We also have a Nintendo 64 controller, OEM. This is the original N64 controller. And then we also have a Dreamcast controller that we picked up from GameStop. Additionally, we have the PlayStation 3 Motion Sense, I think is what this is. And then we also picked up a DSi XL the other day. This was an in-store pickup. So just looking at the stack, right? I mean, when you look at the three non-GameStop pickups versus all of the GameStop pickups, for me, GameStop is becoming the place to find reasonable prices, which I honestly would not have thought that was going to be the case in 2025. I would have thought, to be honest, that it would have gotten easier for collectors from a pricing perspective to find things in the wild. But I was wrong. The competition is fierce. It's being reflected in the prices, at least in thrift stores. It's not something that's just local to me, because based on the comments that I got on that video, it seems like it's happening everywhere. Everyone's feeling this pinch. And so it kind of just puts me in a space where it's like, well, what are collectors gonna do moving forward? I'm not just like, I think we all have a limit to what we're willing to spend and what we're willing to pay, especially for basic retro gaming items. Like for basic handhelds that are really common, for games that are really common, has to be a limit. And in my mind, I'm just like, okay, at what is going to be the point where it stops? And you know, someone mentioned this on one of my comments. Unfortunately, I don't think there's an end to it, because retro game, they're not making any more of this stuff, right? They're not making any more DSi XLs. They're not making any more of these retro games or retro equipment. And because there's a finite amount, just like anything else, when there's a finite amount, or when you can no longer increase the supply, I guess the demand is just going to continue to shoot through the roof. And, you know, who knows, maybe 10, 15 years from now, the Super Smash Bros. For N64 is going to wind up being $150 for that cartridge, which I think would just be wild. But based on the trajectory and where we're headed, it seems that is the future. So, I mean, what are we going to do? I'm interested to know what you're going to do. And where are we left to hunt for video games? Are we all regulated to eBay now? Is it GameStop? Is GameStop the last hope, the final frontier? Or do we just quit collecting altogether? I know I'm going to get a ton of comments about emulation, and I understand that. But emulating doesn't do anything for the collector, right? Because you have gamers and you have collectors. Just because you're one doesn't mean you're the other. And you know, you can have people that do both. They collect and game. So the question I'm asking is for the collectors, not the gamers. What are the collectors left to do who like to collect physical hardware, who are building a collection? What are we gonna do? Because it seems like it's becoming more and more difficult. I'm interested to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.